Have you ever had someone say, hey, don't take this personally, but then they say something that feels very personal? Don't take this personally, but you're not really my type. Hey, don't take this personally, you're really someone I would never date. Hey, don't take this personally, but the boss hired their relative instead of you. Well, it feels really personal, doesn't it? And the battle with taking things personally or not wanting to be personal with someone is a big reason a lot of people don't set boundaries. They either want to please everybody and make everyone happy, which is impossible, or they don't want to hurt anyone. I don't want to hurt people. I don't want to say anything to hurt people. Or they just kind of deuce out and don't do anything with anybody. All of those are wrong because you can't really live your life without people. We all have to engage with people, but boundaries are a part of that. So today we're going to talk about the right way to implement boundaries in your life so you can have a thriving life. Hey guys, I'm David Maxwell with ThrivingMan.com, where we help you conquer your everyday chaos and live a thriving life. It's what we do. And lately we've been doing a series on boundaries, helping you set boundaries in your life, knowing what to do. So I encourage you, check out all the episodes. I do some, my son does some, and they're really geared to help you as a man set boundaries in your life. And when you have boundaries, that helps you thrive because you're going to be able to do a lot more with your life than you even realize. Now, today we're talking about how boundaries aren't personal. And the reason we're talking about this is a lot of people take everything personal. And along with that, a lot of people don't even take responsibility for their life. They're saying, hey, it's not my fault that I did this to you. And so we have this dichotomy out there that really makes us confused and we struggle with it. What do we do with this? And so we often fall into two separate camps. The first camp is the people who just say, I don't care. I don't care what happens to you. I'm all about me. I'm about what I want. I'm about my stuff. And they just kind of say, screw everybody. It's all about me. And you may know people like that. You may have been someone like that or are currently someone like that. And then there's the opposite. It's the people who want to please everybody. I want everyone to like me. I want everyone to get along. Can't we all just get along? People live their lives that way. But the problem is they never do anything for themselves. So they're the total opposite. They're always doing for others. And slowly, sometimes resentment builds up in them. And then one day they explode and everybody's like, wait, what's going on here? That's what a lot of people run into when they don't have boundaries in their life. So we want to make sure to understand that boundaries aren't personal. When you craft authentic boundaries the right way, what you're doing is you're taking the personal side out of it. You're not aiming it at any person. It's based on you. It's based on what you want and really what you need in your life and what you feel like your life is all about. That's what boundaries are for. So you can set them and then they don't have to be personal. They're not attacking anybody. They're not holding back anybody. They're based upon you and how you want to live your life. That includes other people, but when you have boundaries, it's actually a lot more enjoyable. Okay, the first thing we want to talk about is how authentic boundaries are pre-built. What does that mean? That means they're boundaries that you came up with before the situation happens. And because of that, they're based on your own personal convictions. Now, I'm not going to get into the whole thing with personal convictions. I've covered that in other shows. But what it means is you know who you are, you know what you believe, you know how you want to live. That's how you base your boundaries. You pre-built them. You decide them beforehand, and then you live them out. And that's the key to it. A lot of these decisions you make one time, and then you just manage it the rest of your life. Because sometimes life changes. So your situation may change to where you do things a different way. Like, let's say you have a family, and Tuesday night of the family is game night. It's what we do. Nothing interferes with Tuesday night game night because it's a time for your family to get together. Well, let's say your kids get older and they start doing sports. Well, Tuesday night is practice night. So you may have to move that game night to another night of the week. You still make it important. You still have a boundary around it. You might just move it to a different night. That's making the decision one time, we're going to have a game night, and then managing it through the situations of life. And that's what we do with our boundaries. Oftentimes we make the decision, what's important to us? What's our conviction? How do we want to live? And then we manage it through different situations and with different people. This is why it's so important for you to have a faith foundation in your life. When you have that faith foundation, your convictions are built on something other than yourself. Because when they're built on yourself, they rise and fall based on how you feel. Some days you feel good, you're motivated, you want to get things done. Some days you want to sit on the couch, eat a bunch of chips, and do nothing. Well, what you do is you find convictions that are really outside of you and what your feelings are. That's what you live by. And when you build your boundaries based on a faith foundation, those boundaries are solid. And what's going to happen is your life will become more solid. You'll make the right decision no matter how you feel. Why would you want to be a slave to how you feel? Because sometimes we don't feel like doing the right thing. But if we do the right thing, that means we are living by something higher than ourselves, a higher conviction. So when you get that as a man, you can take your boundaries from that. And that's why we call them pre-built. And that's the key. Your boundaries, when they come from an inner conviction, they're not based on people. So they're not personal. It's not that you like this person or don't like that person. Your boundaries are based upon your convictions. So that means they apply during all situations at all times. Now, do they take work? Yeah. Are they easy? Not all the time. But when you apply them evenly, then you will thrive in your life and people will know it's not something against them. It's something you always live by because it's a conviction you have. Your boundaries are based on your convictions. That's why they're pre-built. The other thing to remember is that authentic boundaries carry no shame. The reason I say that is because what many men do is they apply self-imposed boundaries. You say, what's a self-imposed boundary? It's something you do to push yourself to grow. It's something you do to stop yourself in an area that you're weak. Because the truth is, you can build a boundary that helps you either get better at something or keep something from hurting you. And that's a good thing. You don't want to be shameful about that. If you have a boundary, say, hey, this is what it's about. Like, let's say you're a guy and you have a phone that you put all kinds of programs and things on. You have accountability because you don't want to look at porn. Maybe you have a weakness toward that. Well, there's nothing wrong with that. If you just say, hey, that's a weakness for me. I've built this boundary to help myself not do it. See, that's where authentic boundaries don't carry shame because it's just a reality. I'm weak in this area. Just like if you have a weakness for Bluebell ice cream, you don't keep it in the freezer because it's going to call to you late at night and you're going to lose that battle. So what you do is you say, I don't keep Bluebell in the house. I go get it for special occasions with other people, but I don't keep it here by myself. That is a self-imposed boundary. We call it self-control. And that's really what self-control is. It's you controlling yourself. A lot of people don't do that today. They don't even know how to do it. And the key is to understand there's nothing wrong with it because everybody has a weakness. Everybody has something that maybe gets them. Or people have strengths they want to make stronger. Both of those take you putting a self-imposed boundary. Let's say you want to get in better shape. Well, you set the boundary to Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to hire a trainer. I'm going to do what I need to do to get in better shape. That's a self-imposed boundary. What you've done is you've created a circumstance to where you'll do the thing you want to do even when you don't feel it. There's no shame in that. It's a pre-built boundary. It's one that you set up. It's authentic. And so you're more likely to walk it out. And the truth is there shouldn't be any shame with that boundary because usually the shame comes when you don't have a boundary and you just kind of do whatever. Usually in the long run, that's where the shame is going to come from. So guys, closing out the show today, what we want to do is learn that authentic boundaries come from an inner conviction. And I want to ask you, what's your inner conviction? What do you live for? Are you just living for yourself? Are you just living for what you want? Do you have a faith foundation? And if you do, are you growing in it or are you just living in survival mode? A lot of men today are just trying to make it to the weekend. They're trying to make it to the next check. And what we want to encourage you to do is to develop your boundaries. Develop some authentic boundaries based on your conviction and apply them to yourself and then apply them to other situations. But when you start with yourself, you're going to get stronger and you're going to be able to make better decisions in your life. If you need more help, check out thrivingman.com. We have lots of resources and courses and coaching to help you thrive as a man so you can live your best life. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for listening to the Thriving Man Podcast. If you want to check out more resources from David and Reese, you can go to thrivingman.com. We'll see you in the next episode.